Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the story behind a unique and historically rich 5-cent coin, the 2005 Jefferson nickel. This coin isn't just another nickel in your pocket change. It's a tribute to one of the most significant moments in American exploration, and it marks a special turning point in the design history of the U.S. nickel. Whether you're a new collector or someone just curious about the coins in your jar, this one is definitely worth a closer look. The year 2005 was a special one for U.S. nickels. As part of the Westward Journey nickel series, the U.S. Mint introduced new reverse designs to honor the bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark expedition. These designs were only used in 2004 and 2005, which makes any coin from that short period a little more unique than your average nickel. The Ocean in View reverse is especially meaningful because it celebrates the moment the Corps of Discovery, led by Lewis and Clark, finally reached the Pacific Ocean in 1805 after months of hardship and exploration. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, and that's where the D Mint mark comes in. If you look at the front of the coin known as the obverse, you'll find a modernized image of Thomas Jefferson. Unlike the earlier versions where he faced left in a more stoic profile, this 2005 version shows Jefferson facing forward, slightly turned to the right, making eye contact with the viewer. It's more lifelike and engaging, and it was designed by artist Joe Fitzgerald. The word Liberty is written in Jefferson's own handwriting just to the left of his face, followed by the year 2005 and the D Mint mark right next to it. You'll also see "In God We Trust" beneath his chin, wrapping along the lower curve of the coin. The reverse of this coin is where the real story unfolds. It features a dramatic design of the Pacific coastline, with trees, rocky cliffs, and the ocean stretching out in the distance. Just above the horizon is the phrase "E pluribus unum," and right in the middle of the sky is a quote taken directly from the journal of William Clark, Ocean in View. Oh, the joy! That phrase captures the overwhelming emotion and relief felt by the expedition after traveling thousands of miles through uncharted territory. Below the scene are the words "United States of America" in 5 cents. This reverse design was created by artist Joe Fitzgerald and sculpted by Norman E. Nemeth. It's detailed, expressive, and unlike any other nickel ever minted before or after. It's also one of only a handful of coins in U.S. history to feature a full quote from a historical figure right on the design, which makes it stand out to collectors and historians alike. Now let's talk about how many of these were made. In 2005, the Denver Mint produced more than 411 million of the Ocean in View nickels. That's a huge number, so in circulated condition, meaning coins that have been used in everyday transactions, this coin is still worth just 5 cents. You can find them in change or in rolls from the bank without too much trouble. But don't let the mintage numbers fool you, condition matters a lot. If you find a 2005 D Ocean in View nickel that's still in uncirculated condition, meaning it shows no signs of wear, scratches, or fading, then you've got something that might be worth holding on to. These coins can sell for $1 to $3 on average, and sometimes even more if they have extra sharp details or that brilliant, frosty mint luster. Coin collectors use a grading system that ranges from 1 to 70. The higher the number, the better the coin's condition. If your 2005 D nickel grades at MS65 or higher, MS stands for mint state, it could sell for $10 to $20 or even more, depending on demand. Coins in MS67 or above are especially sought after and can reach $50 or more, particularly if they've been professionally graded and slabbed by companies like PCGS or NGC. Now here's the fun part: errors. While the Ocean in View design didn't produce as many famous errors as the American Bison version from the same year, there are still some things to watch for. Some coins have been found with double die errors, where the lettering or design elements appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment in the striking process. If you look closely at the words Ocean in View or United States of America and see any kind of shadow or repetition, that might be a sign of doubling. These kinds of errors can fetch $20 to $100 or more, depending on clarity and condition. There are also potential off-center strikes, where the design is shifted toward one edge of the coin and part of the image is missing. These are usually very obvious and can be quite valuable. Some off-center nickels can sell for $50 to several $100s, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. Another type of error to keep an eye out for is a clipped planchet, which is when the coin is missing a small curved chunk from the edge because the blank metal disc was improperly cut. These errors are less common, but when they show up on popular designs like the Ocean in View nickel, collectors take notice. So how do you know if your coin is special? Start by checking its condition. If it still has that shiny, fresh from the mint look with no visible wear, you're already off to a good start. Next, look closely at the details on the reverse: the ocean, the trees, the quote. Are the lines sharp and clear? Is the lettering crisp and unbroken? If so, you might have a higher grade coin on your hands. Then, check for any unusual features like doubling, off-center designs, or missing metal. If you think you've found something valuable, you might want to send your coin in for professional grading. PCGS and NGC are two of the most trusted grading companies in the US, and they can authenticate and grade your coin, which helps increase its resale value. Just keep in mind, grading costs around $20 to $30, so it's only worth doing if your coin could sell for more than that. If you're ready to sell your coin, there are a few great options. eBay is the go-to platform for most coin sellers. You can list your coin with clear photos and a detailed description, and there's a large community of collectors browsing there every day. If you've had your coin graded, include the certification info in your listing. For more valuable pieces, you might want to check out auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Great Collections, where serious collectors often search for rare and high-grade coins. But even if your 2005D Ocean in View nickel isn't worth a fortune, it's still a fascinating and beautiful piece of history. It represents the spirit of exploration, the courage of discovery, and a rare moment when the U.S. Mint stepped out of tradition to create something new and meaningful. It's also one of only a few nickels that includes a full quote from a historical journal, which adds another layer of interest and storytelling. So the next time you're sorting through your coins, take an extra second to check those nickels from 2005. Look for that D mint mark, Jefferson's forward-facing portrait, and the scene of the Pacific Ocean with those famous words "Ocean in View." Oh, the joy! You never know what you might find, and even if it's just worth face value, it's a coin with a story worth sharing. Next, we're taking a closer look at a truly unique and historically significant coin, the 2005 American Bison nickel. This 5-cent piece is part of the U.S. Mint's Westward Journey nickel series, and it commemorates the bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark expedition, one of the most important journeys in American history. But beyond its historical significance, this coin has a beautiful design that has captured the attention of collectors since its release. If you're a coin enthusiast or just curious about what makes this nickel so special, stay tuned as we dive into its history, design, value, and what makes it stand out in the world of numismatics. Let's start with the basics. The 2005 American Bison nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint and is part of a 2-year series released to mark the 200th anniversary of the Lewis and Clark expedition. This series was launched in 2004 and continued into 2005, featuring 2 reverse designs, the American Bison and the Ocean in View, with the 2005 featuring the American Bison reverse. The design was a nod to the American frontier and the wildlife encountered by Lewis and Clark during their historic journey. The obverse, or front, of the 2005 nickel shows a modernized portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the 3rd President of the United States and the man who commissioned the Lewis and Clark expedition. This modernized portrait, designed by artist Joe Fitzgerald, presents Jefferson facing slightly to the right, as opposed to the left-facing profile seen on previous nickels. The word Liberty is inscribed to the left of his image, and just beneath his chin, you'll find the motto "In God We Trust." Below Jefferson's portrait is the year 2005 and the mint mark P, which signifies that the coin was minted in Philadelphia. Now, let's turn to the reverse side of the coin, where the design really shines. The reverse of the 2005 nickel features the American bison, an iconic animal that once roamed freely across the Great Plains and played a critical role in the lives of Native American tribes and early settlers. The bison is depicted standing proud and majestic, looking to the left with its head slightly lowered. The bison's powerful presence is meant to symbolize the wilderness and strength of the American frontier that Lewis and Clark encountered on their journey westward. Above the bison, you'll see the inscription "E Pluribus Unum," the national motto, which translates to "out of many, one." Just beneath the bison's hooves are the words "United States of America" in 5 cents. The American bison design is both a tribute to the majestic animal and a symbol of the untamed wilderness that Lewis and Clark crossed during their historic expedition. It also draws inspiration from the Buffalo nickel, which was first issued in 1913 and is one of the most popular and iconic U.S. coins ever made. The 2005 American Bison nickel was produced in massive quantities, with over 487 million of these coins being struck at the Philadelphia Mint. This large mintage means that, in general, the coin isn't particularly rare, especially in circulated condition. If you find a 2005 nickel that's been used in everyday transactions, its value will be just 5 cents. But what makes this coin valuable is its condition. If you come across an uncirculated 2005 nickel, meaning it's in pristine condition with no wear, scratches, or discoloration, it could be worth more than face value. A coin that's in mint-state condition, such as MS-65, can easily be worth anywhere from $1 to $3, depending on its overall appearance. If the coin is graded MS-66 or higher, it can be worth $5 to $15, depending on demand and the quality of the strike. But coins in MS-67 or higher can really catch the eye of collectors and could sell for $20 to $50 or more, particularly if the coin has been professionally graded and slabbed by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. But the value of the 2005p American Bison nickel doesn't stop there. Error coins, which occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, are often more valuable than regular issues. Although this series didn't produce as many famous errors as other coins, there are still some things to watch for when inspecting your nickel. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die, which occurs when the design is struck more than once, causing certain details to appear doubled. If you spot doubling on the American Bison or on the United States of America or 5-cent inscriptions, you may have a double die error on your hands. These kinds of errors can increase the value of the coin significantly, with examples going for $20 to $100 or more, depending on how obvious the doubling is. Another error to keep an eye out for is the off-center strike, where the design is misaligned and part of the image is missing. If the bison appears off-center and part of its body is cut off, that's a clear sign of an off-center error. These errors can be very valuable to collectors, with prices ranging from $50 to several $100s, depending on how extreme the misalignment is and whether the coin's date and mint mark are still visible. You might also come across a clipped planchet, which happens when the metal blank is cut incorrectly, leaving a portion of the coin missing. If you find a clipped planchet 2005p nickel, it could be worth more than $100, especially if the coin is in good condition and the error is clearly visible. So, how do you know if your 2005p American Bison nickel is a hidden gem? First, examine its condition. If it's worn and shows signs of being in circulation for years, it's probably not worth more than face value. But if you've got an uncirculated coin with sharp details and no wear, that's where the value begins to rise. Be sure to check for any errors. Look for doubling, off-center strikes, or clipping, as these could make your coin worth a lot more. If you believe your coin is valuable or has a noticeable error, consider having it professionally graded. Grading companies like PCGS or NGC can authenticate your coin and assign it a grade, which will help determine its market value. Although the grading process costs a fee, it's often worth it for coins that have significant value. When it comes to selling your 2005p American Bison nickel, there are a few great places to do so. eBay is a popular marketplace for coins, and it's an excellent place to reach collectors from all over the world. If you've had your coin graded, make sure to include the certification information in your listing. Another option is to sell to local coin shops or coin shows, where you can connect with dealers who specialize in rare and collectible coins. If your coin is in error or in excellent condition, consider sending it to auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Great Collections for a broader reach. Even if your 2005p American Bison nickel isn't worth a fortune, it's still a fascinating piece of U.S. history. The American Bison design is a tribute to the natural beauty and wildlife of the American West, and it serves as a lasting reminder of the hardships and triumphs of the Lewis and Clark expedition. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting into coins, this nickel has an incredible story to tell. So, the next time you're going through your change, take a second to check for that 2005p American Bison. It may just be worth more than you think. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you never miss out on more coin-related content. Have you found a 2005p American Bison nickel in your collection? Drop a comment below and let us know what you've discovered. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep checking your change. You never know what treasure you might find.